Y'all, this might be the most shocking twist in hip-hop history, and we've got it all on camera. After years of mystery, rumors, and conspiracy theories, the street's most whispered secret has finally exploded into the spotlight. Pshnau, a moment that has left fans gasping. Lil Jeff's alleged killer has just confessed on camera. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. The confession wasn't even about Lil Jeff. Instead, the shooter admitted to a whole different murder, the cold-blooded killing of rising rap phenom Q50, a case that's been unsolved for over 4 years. And guess what? The footage wasn't supposed to be seen. It leaked in a backroom live stream with just 127 viewers before it went viral in under 2 hours. Now everyone from rap fans to federal agents are watching it on loop. Was Lil Jeff's death just a cover-up? Did Q50's beef with a major label exec seal his fate? Why is a former childhood friend at the center of it all? This isn't just about rap anymore. This is betrayal, cover-ups, and an entire industry's silence being shattered. Stick around because what we're about to break down will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about the streets, the stars, and the truth behind the beat. The story begins not in the studio or on stage, but on a cold, rainy night outside a dusty parking lot in East Atlanta, where Lil Jeff's lifeless body was found slumped in the back seat of his matte black Charger. Fans had barely processed the loss of Q50, another promising young voice gunned down just months before. And now this. 2 murders, no answers, and a rap scene soaked in silence. But if you thought the drama ended there, you were dead wrong. Lil Jeff and Q50 weren't just collaborators, they were brothers in spirit, practically raised together in the same hood, chasing the same dream. The streets called them the future of Southern rap. But behind the scenes, jealousy, backdoor deals, and betrayal were bubbling. And when Q50 was murdered outside a pop-up show in Memphis, all eyes turned to Lil Jeff. His silence was loud, too loud. People asked, "How you not speak out when your day one gets clapped like that?" Jeff didn't say a word until he was the next, in a body bag. The streets exploded with conspiracy. Fans on Twitter pulled up grainy footage from Q50's last Instagram live. He's seen arguing with someone off camera. "You sold out," he yells. "You ain't who you was, Jeff. You switched up." Just 3 weeks later, Q50 was gone. Then came Jeff's death, even messier. Witnesses said a black SUV was seen peeling off seconds after the shots were fired. No plates, no faces, no arrests. The case stalled. The scene went quiet. Until now. Fast forward to last week. A now viral Instagram live started with just a few hundred viewers. It was underground rapper Rome Savage, known for his wild freestyles, and even wilder lifestyle, ranting in a haze of weed smoke and paranoia. At first, it seemed like another drug-fueled meltdown, but then, out of nowhere, he dropped a bomb that would rattle the entire industry. "I ain't killed Jeff," Rome snarled at the camera, eyes twitching. "But I was there when Q50 got dropped. I was there, and I ain't gonna keep running from that no more." Within minutes, clips of the live spread like wildfire. YouTube channels lit up. Fans started dissecting every frame, every word. Was he confessing? Was it a stunt? And most importantly, if Rome was there, who pulled the trigger? The comments section became a battlefield. Half of the fans demanded justice. The other half claimed Rome was chasing clout. But a small group of people, those close to both Q50 and Lil Jeff, weren't shocked at all. To them, Rome's confession wasn't news. It was confirmation. One of those people was Jayla, Q50's older cousin and former manager. She spoke to a small podcast out of Atlanta 2 days after the confession went viral. Her voice shook as she said, "We knew Rome was involved." Q told me straight up days before he died. He ain't trust him. He said Rome had been cozying up to some label folks who hated what Q was doing independently. According to Jayla, Q50 had turned down a major distribution deal with a heavyweight label tied to Southern rap elites. And that decision, she claimed, made him a target. But the twist. That same label had recently offered Lil Jeff a solo deal. just days before Q's murder. So now fans are asking, was Jeff tempted by the industry's offer? Did he sell out Q50 for his own shot at fame? Or worse, did he know what was coming? Rome Savage's confession added fuel to that fire. Another part of the same live, Rome muttered. He shouldn't have been talking. Q was too loud with it. You can't be loud when you ain't got backup. What does that even mean? Did Q50 know he was being hunted? And was Rome sent to silence him? The betrayal cut deep. Q50 and Rome had grown up sharing studio time in a makeshift basement booth, spitting bars into cracked microphones. How does a bond like that break so violently? But that wasn't the end of Rome's breakdown. The next morning, Rome went live again, this time sober and visibly shaken. I ain't mean to say all that, he mumbled. You're twisting my words. I ain't confessed to nothing. I just said I was there, that's all. But it was too late. The damage was done. Q50's name was trending. Fans started piecing together timelines, pulling up archived footage, analyzing the body language from old interviews. In one clip from a year ago, Lil Jeff is on a podcast and is asked if he and Q50 are still close. He hesitates, looks off camera, then says, "We still cool. Just moving different now." Moving different how? Rumors swirled that the two had beef over a secret track, a diss record Jeff allegedly recorded about Q50 that never dropped. The studio engineer who worked with both artists anonymously told a blogger, "Yeah, Jeff laid something real venomous, but he pulled back, said it wasn't worth it, too personal." But maybe it was already too late. Maybe the damage was done. Jayla's claims got even darker. She said Q50 told her he caught Jeff having a private meeting with executives from the label Q had turned down. He felt betrayed, she said. Q told me, "I don't care if it's blood or bro. If you sit with the enemy, you part of the problem." Just days after that, Q was shot dead. And now, Lil Jeff is too. The rap game was silent for months after Jeff's murder. No diss tracks, no tributes, no Instagram posts. Even artists who were known to rock with him stayed quiet. Too quiet. Fans started wondering, was everyone scared? Then came a leaked voice memo from another rising rapper, Trey Uno, who had been cool with both Q50 and Lil Jeff before the fallout. In the audio, Trey is heard saying, "I told Jeff not to go to that meetup. I told him, that ain't your crowd. You think they want you to win? They just want to clean up the mess they made with Q." Was Jeff set up? Was Rome's confession just the beginning of a much deeper plot? Right before part 1 ends, we're left with one more jaw-dropping twist. A former security guard named Rico, who used to work at Q50's private sessions, breaks his silence in a DM to a major hip-hop blog. "Rome ain't the one who pulled the trigger," he writes. But he knows who did, and it ain't someone y'all would expect. But before we reveal who that someone might be, there's one more piece of the puzzle, and that's where part 2 picks up, because the next revelation will send shockwaves through not just the streets, but the entire rap industry. So who was Rico talking about? If Rome Savage didn't pull the trigger, then who did? The answer, according to Rico's DM, was someone who had been in plain sight the entire time. Someone who was seen grieving publicly after Q50's death, posting tributes, showing up to vigils, and even performing a tearful freestyle on the Bet cipher dedicated to Q's legacy. It was none other than Davey D, Q50's childhood friend turned rap rival turned label signee. Now here's where it gets twisted. Davey D and Q50 had a rocky history. They grew up together, battled each other at local showcases, and even dropped a mixtape together back in 2019. But after Q50 blew up with City Bleeds, the song that put him on the map, Devi started getting left behind. Their relationship soured and fans noticed it. Shady tweets, sneak disses, and that infamous moment on Live where Devi said, "Sometimes the realest ones get left behind, because the fakes are better at playing the game." Fast forward a few months, Devi signs with the same label Q50 had. Rejected, the same one rumoured to have beef with Q for going independent, and not even 6 weeks later, Q50 is shot and killed. Rico, the former security guard, claimed Devi was in the car with Rome the night Q was ambushed. Rome ain't the shooter, but he drove the car, Rico wrote. Devi was the one in the back seat. Devi had beef. Devi had motive. Rome just kept his mouth shut because he's scared. This revelation hit the internet like a hurricane. Fans were stunned. The same DVD who had been crying in interviews saying Q was my brother, now possibly the one behind the trigger. The betrayal felt biblical. But it didn't stop there. A new leak surfaced. This time, security footage from a private studio lot in Midtown Atlanta, dated 2 nights before Q's death. In the grainy footage, Rome and Devi are seen getting out of a black SUV. They walk into a building together. 15 minutes later, Lil Jeff arrives in a different car. He walks in alone. The three are never seen leaving together. Rumors exploded that it was a setup meeting. Was Jeff there to warn Q, or was he caught in the middle? Jayla, Q50’s cousin, came forward again. This time, she dropped a bombshell. Jeff told me he knew something, she said in a voice note, that was later shared by fans. He said he didn't know how deep it went, but he thought Devi and Rome were on some snake time. He said he wasn't safe no more. And just like that, the narrative shifted. Maybe Lil Jeff wasn't the traitor. Maybe he was the next target. Fans flooded Devi D's comments with snake emojis. His upcoming tour dates got cancelled. Sponsors started backing out. Devi went silent for 2 days, then came back swinging. He dropped a 7-minute freestyle on his Instagram, recorded in black and white, where he denied everything. "I ain't never touched Q," he rapped. "I mourned him harder than his fam did. Y'all got my name in your mouth, but ain't seen the truth behind them cameras." He ended the freestyle with a chilling line. "When real ones die, fakes rise. But when the smoke clear, only snakes die." Was that a threat? Was he warning Rome to stay quiet? Rome, for his part, didn't respond directly. But he posted a photo of himself at an undisclosed location with the caption, "Pressure make, diamonds or dead men." Fans interpreted it as fear. Was Rome hiding, running, preparing to tell more? But the story took another wild turn when a mysterious hard drive surfaced. A blogger known as Mac Digits posted a YouTube video claiming he had obtained a hard drive that contained unreleased footage from the night of Q50’s murder. He didn't show the footage, only a few screen grabs. But what he revealed shook the entire foundation of the case. One image showed Q50 outside the Memphis venue, talking to someone wearing a hoodie and mask. Another image showed that same figure holding a phone. And on the screen, paused, was a picture of Lil Jeff's last Instagram story. The timestamp matched the night of the meeting. Was someone using Jeff's location to track Q50 even more? Damning. The metadata from the footage allegedly placed Rome Savage's phone within 100 meters of the crime scene during the exact time of the shooting. Mac Digits claimed he sent the footage to an independent investigator and said, "What I saw on that hard drive makes it real clear. Someone set Q up, and Jeff might have been used without even knowing." That theory made waves. Maybe Lil Jeff was innocent. Maybe he was just a pawn in a deadly game of revenge and industry politics. But if he knew something, why didn't he come forward? The answer may lie in a chilling voicemail Jeff left for his sister, Taylor, just 2 days before he died. Taylor, who had remained silent throughout the entire saga, finally broke down and played the message during a live appearance on the Real Streets podcast. Jeff's voice was soft, almost whispering. "If anything happened to me, just know I ain't fold. I tried to do right. But some doors, once you open them, you can't close them again." Taylor broke down crying on the show. The hosts sat in stunned silence. Thousands of fans flooded the chat with heartbreak and rage. Justice for Jeff started trending. Rome went completely dark. No lives, no posts, no sightings. But then, like a final act in a twisted play, he reappeared on a new podcast, Hood Files Uncensored, with one goal: to clear the air. The interview was raw, unfiltered, and emotional. Rome sat hunched over, eyes bloodshot, hands trembling. "I ain't no killer," he said, "but I saw what happened. I didn't pull no trigger, but I know who did." And when the host asked him straight up if Devi was the shooter, Rome paused for a long, excruciating moment. The room was dead silent. Then he said, "You already know who had the most to lose if Q kept rising. It wasn't me. It wasn't Jeff. It was the one who already signed." And just like that, without saying Devi's name, Rome confirmed what everyone already feared. But this confession came with a cost. Rome's location was leaked hours later. Then his Instagram went offline. Rumors swirled he had gone into hiding, or worse. Part 2 ends with the chilling possibility that the person who confessed on camera may not live long enough to testify, and the one pulling the strings might still be out there, protected by power, money, and silence. In Part 3, everything unravels. A surprise witness comes forward. A new tape is leaked, and the entire industry's darkest secret threatens to blow wide open. Are you ready for the truth? Rome Savage had gone dark. His confession was still echoing across the internet, and now the whispers turned into roars. Fans feared for his safety. Bloggers speculated about who might be coming for him, and yet, despite the looming danger, the streets weren't silent. A new figure stepped into the spotlight, someone nobody expected. It was Mia Lorenzo, a former assistant at the very label Q50 rejected, the same label that had signed D and reportedly offered a secret deal to Lil Jeff just before Q's murder. Mia had disappeared from the industry months ago, deleting all her socials and going ghost without explanation. But now she was back, and with receipts. In an exclusive call-in interview with Off the Record at Night, Mia claimed she had been present in a meeting between Devi D, 2 label execs, and a mystery third party just 3 days before Q50's death. According to her, the conversation wasn't about music at all. It was about damage control. They were saying, "Q was too loud," Mia recalled. "He wasn't just turning down deals. He was exposing stuff, percentages, shelf deals, label politics. He was threatening their whole setup. They needed him silenced." The host asked her who the third party was, and Mia hesitated. "I didn't know his name," she said. "But he wasn't industry. He was street. Like, heavily street. And he had Rome's photo on his phone. They were planning something, and I knew it wasn't just about Q anymore." This bombshell interview sent shockwaves through the fan base. For the first time, someone from the inside had confirmed what people were only speculating, that Q50's murder wasn't random, it was coordinated. And Lil Jeff, possibly caught in the middle of something way bigger than he understood. But the next twist sent everything off the rails. An anonymous tipster dropped a file folder on a dark web forum. Inside, a full-length video titled "The Devi Plan, Raw Feed." It was shaky, handheld footage, allegedly recorded secretly during the same studio meeting seen in the leaked security cam footage. The same one that showed Rome, Devi, and Lil Jeff all arriving at the same location. The video had no audio, but subtitles were burned in, supposedly added by the... According to the subs, Devi is seen pacing, gesturing aggressively toward Rome and pointing to a phone screen. The words read, "He's gonna be there. We just need to make sure Jeff ain't gonna flip." Then another subtitle pops up. Devi allegedly says, "You drive, I'll handle it. And if Jeff gets soft, we silence him too." The internet exploded. Memes, hashtags, reaction videos, breakdowns. The video spread like wildfire. And though some still debated the video's authenticity, the damage to Devi's reputation was irreversible. More artists began unfollowing him. A collab with a major pop star was suddenly pulled from streaming. Even his label, silent up to now, issued a cryptic statement. "We are currently reviewing serious allegations and will respond accordingly." Then, just when things seemed like they couldn't spiral further, they did. A man named Stax, a low-level street hustler with ties to both Rome and Devi, went live on his burner Instagram account. He looked scared, shaky, constantly checking over his shoulder. "I ain't gonna stay long," he said. But I was outside that night. I saw them boys leave the venue. Rome was sweating. Devi, calm, ice cold. Jeff called someone right after, said, "It's done, Q gone." I don't know who he was talking to, but he ain't sound proud. He sounded scared. Stax ended the live early. Within minutes, his account was deleted. Bloggers, vloggers, and investigative YouTubers began connecting the dots. Could it be that Jeff wasn't involved in Q's murder, but was used to lure him out? Or even worse, was he forced to play along? A new theory took hold, that Jeff, realizing too late what he was part of, tried to walk away, and was silenced before he could speak. And then came the emotional gut punch that no one saw coming. Jayla, Q50's cousin, returned for one last interview, this time with Q's old phone in her hand. She said she finally got into it after months of fighting for legal access, and what she found broke her heart. Q knew, she whispered. He knew who was after him. She opened the voice memo app and played a never-before-heard audio file, titled, "If I Don't Make It." Q50's voice crackled through the speakers, full of raw emotion. "If you're hearing this, then they got me. And if you think it was some street beef, it wasn't. This was business. Music business. People I thought was my brothers. They sold me out. And Jeff, man, if you ain't do it, I forgive you. But if you knew and stayed quiet, I hope your soul don't rot." The internet shattered. Fans cried. Threads blew up. Justice Fork started trending globally. And suddenly, the story was no longer about rumors. It was about legacy. But while fans mourned, the industry panicked. Devi D cancelled all appearances. Rome Savage reportedly went into witness protection, or at least underground. Bloggers were hit with takedown notices. The label? Silent. But leaks kept coming. One insider claimed that the label had launched an internal investigation and that contracts were being re-examined behind closed doors. And then, in one final act of defiance, someone uploaded an unreleased track, Q50 featuring Lil Jeff, titled "Dead Men Talk." The lyrics were brutal, prophetic, and heartbreaking. Q raps. "They smile in your face, but they poison your drink, say brotherhood, but they shoot for you blink." Jeff follows with, "I seen things I can't unsee, prayed to God to unchain me, but these demons come with contracts and blood inked me." The internet wept. The two young artists, both gone too soon, finally speaking together from beyond the grave. And in that moment, everything changed. The fans weren't just reacting, they were organizing. A movement was growing. Street murals popped up. Protest. Hashtags called out the label by name. Fans demanded transparency, investigations, even indictments. Artists who had stayed quiet began speaking out, some even breaking contracts to show support. The truth was out. And now, there was no putting it back in the bottle. But the question still hung heavy in the air. Who really pulled the trigger? The final piece of the puzzle came from someone no one expected. Kilo Red, a former producer and street figure who hadn't been seen in public in nearly 6 years. Known in the underground for making brutal trap beats and for his rumored connections to the city's darkest corners, Kilo had once been close to Q50. They worked on early demos together before Q ever hit the charts. But after a messy falling out over stolen masters and a bad studio deal, Kilo vanished from the scene. Until now. Kilo posted a cryptic video on a burner account late at night, face shadowed, voice distorted. But his message, clear. "I know where the weapon came from," he said. "I know who passed it, and I know who filmed the whole thing." The internet erupted again. After weeks of leaks, rumors, and partial confessions, now there was talk of full-on video footage, not from outside the venue, not from grainy street cams, but from inside the car where it all happened. Kilo claimed he had a flash drive. On it, body cam footage from a small wearable camera, one worn by the third man in the SUV the night Q50 was killed. He didn't name the person wearing it. He didn't have to. Fans and bloggers immediately turned their attention to a name that had quietly surfaced once before, but was never taken seriously. Juno Max, a minor street artist who had ties to Rome Savage and was seen hanging around the label's private events but never signed. His name popped up briefly in Jailer's interviews and was spotted in Q50's DMs, asking cryptically, "You sure you want to go against the system?" No one thought much of it, until now. Kilo claimed Juno was in the SUV that night. Not only that, he said Juno was the one filming, and that Juno had been working under orders from the label's street-affiliated security team to monitor Q50. He wasn't just there, Kilo said. He was documenting everything for insurance, proof, leverage, blackmail. That's why they ain't dumped the camera. It was insurance in case Rome or Davy turned. So why leak it now? Because the real killer is about to walk, Kilo growled. And Jeff got murdered just for knowing too much. Someone got to stop this cycle. The next day, a 2-minute clip surfaced online, and this one didn't come with subtitles or theories. It was raw, real, and horrifying. The camera shakes as the figures inside the SUV argue. Voices are muffled, but Deevy's distinct drawl can be heard clearly. "Make it clean," he says. "We can't mess this up." Q50's voice comes through a second later, off camera. "You really doing this, bro?" The car door opens. A struggle, a flash, then silence. The screen goes black. And just like that, the truth was undeniable. Devi D, the one who cried on TV, who dedicated songs to Q50's memory, who denied and dodged and disappeared, was the shooter. The clip sparked an instant outcry. Thousands flooded Devi's label with messages. Protests hit the streets of Atlanta. Streetwear brands and sponsors dropped him overnight. His Spotify profile was bombarded with negative reviews. And worse, fans started pulling up outside his shows, chanting, "Justice for Q, justice for Jeff." Devi issued a short, cold statement through his legal team. "We deny all allegations. Video evidence is being misinterpreted. We will fight these lies in court," but no one was buying it anymore. In a rare move, the district attorney's office announced they were reopening multiple homicide cases connected to the music industry, and that new subpoenas were being issued for former label employees, including Mia Lorenzo and several unnamed security contractors. Rome Savage, still in hiding, posted one final live from a completely empty room, his face obscured, but his tone heavy with regret. "I should have said something earlier. I thought staying quiet would protect me. It didn't. It just got Jeff killed, and it let them win." He didn't take questions. He didn't ask for sympathy. He just stared at the screen for a long time, then ended the live. Within hours, Rome's account was deleted. As the legal process slowly began to grind forward, the fans turned their pain into purpose. Tributes to Q50 and Lil Jeff went up all across the country. Murals, freestyles, benefit concerts, even scholarship funds for kids trying to escape the cycle of exploitation in the music industry. Jailer, in tears at a memorial concert, addressed the crowd. They tried to bury the truth. But Q spoke louder than death. "Jeff died trying to do the right thing. They ain't gonna be forgotten. Not now. Not ever." But even in the light of justice, questions still lingered. Who else knew? How far did the label's involvement go? Was Juno Max just a pawn or something more? And most disturbingly, how many other artists were silenced before they could ever speak? A chilling theory began to spread. That Q50's murder wasn't the first of its kind, and wouldn't be the last. That there was a pattern of young, independent-minded rappers being offered deals, declining, and then mysteriously disappearing or dying soon after. Bloggers dubbed it the silence clause, and now fans are combing through old cases, questioning the deaths of other underground artists who had once brushed against the same label. Even without official indictments, the fallout was irreversible. Devi D's career was in ashes. Rome Savage vanished, possibly under protection. Juno Max was arrested for obstruction, and the label hit with a federal investigation. But Q50's voice, forever immortalized in tracks, lives on. So does Jeff's haunting final voicemail. And, for fans, that's a reminder of the cost of silence and the power of truth. As the dust settled, a billboard went up in Atlanta, funded by fans and painted with their own money. It showed Q50 and Lil Jeff side by side, staring out over the city. The caption read, "They tried to silence them. We won't let them be forgotten." And that was the end of the story. Or was it? Because just days after the billboard went up, a new account appeared on SoundCloud. No photo, no name, just one track. Its title, Industry Ghosts, and the voice rapping over a haunting piano beat sounded an awful lot like Rome Savage, Fade to Black. And there you have it. One of the darkest, most twisted stories the rap world has ever seen. From Q50's rise and fall, to Lil Jeff's silent struggle, to Rome Savage's accidental confession that blew the entire case wide open. This wasn't just a story about murder. It was a story about loyalty, betrayal, and how deep the industry shadows really run. Two young artists silenced far too soon. One for speaking the truth. The other for knowing too much. And while DVD may have finally been exposed, we're left with even bigger questions. How many others have been caught in this deadly cycle? Who else has the silence clause hanging over their head? And will the label ever face real consequences? Or will it be business as usual behind closed doors? Fans are still mourning. Families are still waiting. And somewhere out there, if the rumors are true, Rome Savage might still be watching, waiting, maybe even planning to reveal more. But one thing is certain, the truth can't stay buried forever, not when the fans won't let it be.